So, new session. Welcome to the introduction of Attaché Online Services. My name's Marianne Wichman, and I'm going to be taking you through this session this morning. This is an introduction to the online services. Some of you will already be using some of them, and others may be using all of them. Okay, I'm not sure, but you'll recognise them as we go through. I am, without a doubt, I know I'm going to be introducing some of you to new ones that you may not have even heard. You may have received information from us in the mail or by email, but maybe not really understanding what they all are. So the first one I'm going to talk about is Express Leave. So we're going to duck over to the software now, as soon as the guys hook me over. Thank you. So all the online services are found in one place. So that's attachéonline.com. So if I refresh this button here, I'll go to this one here. So attachéonline.com, and you will see that we have, you will see here that we have all the apps. We refer to them now as apps, and we keep adding to them regularly. So I mentioned the Big earlier on, or the guide, the Attaché Big. So there's the guide there. So once you get registration access, you can come to Attaché Online and you can access the Big from there. You'll notice also here we have Biz Docs, we've got Express Leave, we also have Mypay. So we continue to add to those. Those of you that are using our web stores or Sales Matrix SWOT, you can access them from there as well. Those that are actually having our software hosted in the cloud, you can actually access the cloud application from here as well. So everything is found in that one place. We're actually going to start with Express Leave today because following on from Alison's session of the payroll. So we're going to look at Express Leave. I could launch it from here, which I will do. I'll close that one down and we'll launch that. So when I launch Express Leave, the first thing it wants me to do is come in and enter in my email address and password, which I'm going to do. I've already registered for Express Leave. Express Leave is not necessarily for every single company, depending on the type of industry that you're in. But for us at Attaché, for example, with over 100 staff that are located in New Zealand, all over Australia, we also have, I think, Luxembourg. One of the girls is in Luxembourg working remotely. The ability for us to be able to put in our leave requests online is a huge time saver to sue our payroll officer. So when we close down at Christmas, we all take, most of us, probably 95% of the company, take leave at Christmas. So for Sue to have to actually go through and enter in all those leave applications manually is a very, very time-consuming task and also open to error. So Express Leave has been available now for probably 6 months. We at Attaché have been using it internally for about 9 months. Well, no, probably 9 months, 9 or 10 months now. So I just want to introduce you to those. Just a really quick question. Does anybody here use Express Leave? Nobody. Okay. Very, very easy to get up and running. Okay, so after today, if you were interested and you wanted to know a little bit more about it, please talk to your Attaché consultant about it. It is a BI application. Okay, it is something that is in Attaché BI. So I'm going to show you very quickly what it entails and what some of the functionality that's available. So I'm going to log on. We already have created an email address. I'll just put in the password in there as well. So with Express Leave, we do recommend that the employees use their work email addresses. Okay, so if they use their work email, if they leave, then it doesn't matter, okay? Whereas with Mypay, which I'm going to talk about in a moment, we do recommend that they use their personal email addresses because they will have access to their pay advices and payment summaries once they've left an organisation. So this is a company-based thing, whereas your pay advices are a personal-based thing. Okay, so I've logged in here as Joanne Douglas. You can see Joanne sitting up here. And straight away I can see what my leave balances are as at the 17th, which was yesterday. So we just uploaded we uploaded a file yesterday to give us the leave balances. So with Joanne, I also have down here my history, my leave history. So I can see that I actually have put in for annual leave from the 17th of October to the 21st. And that's been approved, and funnily enough, Alison Ledger is the approver. So when you set the employees up, you can specify there's different levels: administrators, approvers, non-approvers, and just employees. So Alison was the approver. And you can also see here that I actually do have a leave application pending that she hasn't yet approved for me. Now, if Alison was away for any reason, when I'm creating my leave, when I'm actually applying for my leave, so I click on my leave, request for leave, I can come down and I can change to somebody else to be the approver because Alison's taken actual leave. Now, as the administrator, you have access to reports that will, like audit reports, that will let you know if somebody's changed their approver or not. Okay, so people can't just go changing them willy-nilly. Okay, so you have the ability there to change the approver. So I can come in here and I can enter in, just by clicking on the leave period, the calendar pops up for me, so I can turn around now and say, well, I'm actually taking leave from the 20th of December and I won't be returning until the 9th of January. So I'm having quite a bit of leave, and I click apply. Now what happens is that an email is then sent to Alison to say that there has been a request for leave for me. Alison can then click on that email, open it up and have a look, and she has the ability then to either approve it or reject it. If she rejected it or approved it, regardless, I then get an email back saying it's been approved or it's been rejected. Okay, very simple. I specify what type of leave it is. So here I'm saying that it's actually annual leave. It tells me how many working days are in that I'm taking and the total number of hours. It will also incorporate any public holidays. So it will have taken out Christmas Day, New Year's Day out of there automatically for me. Okay. The approver's Alison. I also have the ability to be able to upload a file or a document. So for example, at Attaché, if you're off sick, personal carers leave for more than 2 days, you need to submit a doctor's certificate. So I could actually scan that certificate in and attach it here for the HR manager as well, for our payroll officer. I can also incorporate some notes. Don't try and contact me, mobile phone will be off, you know, anything like that. So you can add notes as well. So once I've done that, I just hit submit. That now goes and sends that email off to Alison for me. And you can see now down in my history, I actually now have 2 lots of leave pending approval. Okay? You also have the ability to look at a leave calendar. So you can actually look at the calendar to see what other employees are actually away at that time. So is there anybody else in my team that's away? Oh, geez, Marianne might reject that because there's 2 of us away at the time. So you get to see who's on leave, and it will also incorporate any public holidays that are in there as well. Okay? So everybody has access to that calendar. We also incorporate, like I mentioned, the public holidays. So we've got all the public holidays in there. Because you can set up different countries, we actually have express leave set up for Australia and New Zealand, Papua New Guinea as well, because we have a lot of business done in Papua New Guinea. So we can actually set the public holidays up for those as well to be incorporated. Okay, so it lists you the public holidays. So it's very, very simple, as you can see, to go in and put in a leave application. Okay, the payroll officer then creates a file for the payroll officer, and she or he then import that file straight in as a timesheet. You can then go in and still make any modifications that they need to, should they be required. Really simple process. Okay. Those of you that are already on BI, okay, this is part of the software. You can get started on this tomorrow. Okay. From within Express Leave, you can also launch Mypay, which is the next one that I want to talk about. So I can either launch Mypay from here, and this is where I can go in and have a look at my own pay advices. So this is the one where you would actually enter in your own personal email address. So again, we're using the same employee. So we've got Big Sky Sydney at outlook.com. Sorry, and the password. I could click here to remember my login and email, which I will do, and I go to log in. What I should have pointed out at that stage, there was the green registration button. So those employees that are not registered yet for Mypay would click on that green registration button and register themselves and their email addresses. To date, we have, and I checked this yesterday with our online services team, we have over 160,000 people using Mypay to get their pay advices, their payment summaries, etc. Okay? So you can see once I've logged into Mypay, I now have the ability to be able to, change. I'll log into Mypay. Because we use Biz Docs, which I'm going to talk about again in a moment, so the organisation Big Sky, they use our payroll system, plus they use the account system, and they use all our online services. So instead of having multiple areas to go for Mypay and for my Biz Docs, we keep it all in the one. You can keep it all in the one, which makes a lot more sense. So I'm going into Mypay here, and as you can see straight away here, I've got all my pay advices. Now, Alison and I worked to create the sample data yesterday to make sure that it was as up to date as it possibly could be. So you can see here I do have pay advices, but they only go back to the 12th of October. If I logged into my own personal email address, I have my pay advices there at this stage for the whole 6 years, 7 years that I've been working at Attaché or been back at Attaché. So it maintains all that history. What you'll also see is if I open up this pay advice here, I can open up any pay advice by clicking on it. It opens the pay advice up for me. I can now go and print it. I can save it, download it, do with it whatever I like. Okay? There's really no reason to save it or download it because I have access to Mypay, which keeps up to 42 months worth of information. So all your pay advices and your payment summaries are there. Interesting, if I close that one down, if I click on the one for the 17th of October, you'll see here now that Joanne is no longer working for Attaché, she's now working for Big Sky. But she still has access to all her pay advices. Because we've maintained her personal email address, when she's left from one organisation to another, it still maintains all that and she can go in and get it. So when we're talking about payment summaries, it's very easy for an employee to be able to go back and get payment summaries from a year ago or 2 years ago without having to contact you and then you having to go and do a reprint to get one out to them or go and find one. Okay? So businesses where they have a lot of turnover of casual staff, and I know one of the ones down in Tasmania, and they may be watching today, I hope they don't mind me mentioning their name, Burlington Berries, they have a lot of casual people that come in, travellers that come in and go, so the ability to be able to keep their email addresses and email them their pay advices and their payment summaries is fantastic because they could be anywhere in the world. Okay? So that's the actual pay advices. You can also see here that you get all your payment summaries as well. So I can open up and download any of those payment summaries. For me personally, at Attaché, I also get my remittance advices. So when I claim my expenses, those expenses are paid into my bank account, and Ali from our accounts department also sends me a remittance advice to tell me that it's been paid into my account. And I have that coming in through Mypay as well so that I can check it. So all the information is kept there. One very important point to make, it is secure, okay? The other thing is that you don't need to worry about passwords. If an employee forgets their password, they have the ability to be able to log in, click on Forgot My Password, and they can go and change their passwords themselves. Okay? So they maintain their own passwords. The other thing is that Fair Work do state that an employee, and I know you've probably heard it from Attaché a million times, but there are still a number of businesses that don't adhere to Fair Work. An employee must receive a pay advice within 24 hours of being paid, even if they're away sick or on annual leave. So this is a secure mailbox where an employee can keep all their information, okay? Just making sure that I have covered everything. Yes. Okay, so moving on from Express Leave and Mypay, the next thing I would really like to show you is the online help. So I will open Attaché back up again and we'll come back to the Help Centre. So this is more for people that, because we're carrying on from payroll and there's some businesses that only use our payroll system, they don't use accounts. So I wanted to show them the online help, the Help Centre as well. Now, there's been a significant amount of work done in this area for Attaché. Alison Ledger, among a number of others back at the office, Ratishka, and the comms team have put a lot of work into converting the accounts help across to the BI help, but giving us the ability to be able to communicate and keep the information as up to date as we possibly can. This is the way of the future. There are no more manuals. We still get people, businesses that buy the software that will ring and say, you know, is there a manual? A manual is outdated the day it's printed. The day it goes to print, it's outdated. So manuals are no longer. We will maintain the Help Centre with each release that comes in, with new modules or new features that were introduced as well. They will all be updated on the Help Centre. The other thing also is that all the information, all the help from accounts has been converted, but as I said, it's work in progress. It's not all completed yet. There's over, how many topics, Alison? Too many, she said. Topics that we needed to convert over, but we are a good way through. Anything that's new that's introduced into the software will be part of the new online help. A couple of things that I wanted to show you. The first thing is, it is a fantastic way for us to be able to communicate to you. And the hot topic at the moment was the tax scales. The ability to be able to let you know that the tax tables or things like that are changing. We know they're changing. We've been in contact with the ATO have let us know. But the ability to be able to let you know that we're aware of it and that we're working on it. And then when they are released, to let you know that they're available. Okay, so we can communicate information back and forth to you. The other thing that's on the help is the popular topics. And you'll probably see here that most of the popular topics are the ones that I'm actually going to be covering today. Invoice Reminders, the Attaché Document Management, or our online services in the form of Biz Docs, which is Alex. Some of you will know it as Alex. Superannuation, which Alison covered off, and then Express Leave. So these hot topics come in from, again, the business partners and our consultants that call in for assistance on behalf of their clients, and the clients that call us direct to our helpline. We gather that information, and those at the end of each month, the hot topics will always be covered in here. So from here, if I want to know more about the superannuation, I can click on that link and it actually takes me straight back to that area. Okay? So the information is there for you. Again, it's communication. It's us being able to give that information to you as soon as we possibly can. The other thing with the help, just a couple of areas for you to be able to go in and look at. The search facility, for example. If I was searching on, I know one of the big topics from help on search is FBT, Fringe Benefits Tax. So if I typed in FBT and then just hit enter to do my search, it comes up here with a whole lot of topics on FBT. And you can now go and click on any one of those and it'll give you more information. Takes you straight in, okay? From an accounts perspective, one of the things that a lot of people are ringing in about at the moment is recurring invoices. So if I typed in recurring invoices and hit enter, it comes up and it tells me or gives me information about customer recurring invoices, but also supplier recurring invoices. Which ones are you after? And again, I have the ability to be able to click on that and drill down to get more information on that help. The other thing is, as you can see here, is that it links us to videos. Okay, so there are videos and there are also PDFs that are available. So, for example, all the end of year information, when we ran the end of year sessions in June this year, that was all done via the Help Centre. So if I click on my Australian end of year for 2015-2016, I now get my little bullet points down here. If I looked at accounts, you'll see here now that I have my PDF that I can print out, I can download and I can go and print as well, which is my end of year process, what I need to do for accounts. If I went and clicked on the actual webinars, if I go back to that end of year, Australian end of year, and click on the end of year webinars, so we recorded them, just like the sessions today are all being recorded, so you will have access to them after today. And the previous sprint sessions that we've done, we're actually going to give you access to those as well again, just as a little reminder. But all those videos, we record them and they're available for you to play as well. So if staff can't make these events or make those sorts of events, they can replay them. That is all part of our YouTube channel. So if you're not subscribed to our YouTube channel, now would be a really good time to have a look at that, because we have a number of videos up on the YouTube channel. We are also advocates of Twitter. I've posted a couple of photos up on Twitter already this morning, advertising or, talking about the event today. LinkedIn, Facebook, we have a Facebook page as well that we put tips up and things like that. So we are trying also to expand our horizons when it comes to social media for, I don't know what generation we are up to. Is it X, Y, Z, or are we back to A again? I'm not sure. But to make sure that we cater for the next generation coming through who do everything through that. Even the HSC at the moment, some of the students are doing HSC and they're getting information through Facebook, questionnaires and things like that. So we want to get across all those methods too. Okay, so that's a little bit about our on-screen help and the search. What's going to happen at the end of today, or you probably noticed this little session here, sprint training resources. So if I log on, open that up, I just wanted to have a quick show you. At the moment, it is locked to you guys. It will be made available to you at the end of today. So as soon as today's finished, we will unlock it and you will have access to all this information as well. Okay, so moving on from the online help, the next thing I wanted to discuss was invoice reminders for those of you that use accounts. Invoice reminders, again, is what we call, it's part of the Big Four. As is Express Leave, as is Biz Docs. And if you want to know more about the Big Four, again, I would talk to your consultants about that, especially if you are still on accounts and you haven't moved to BI yet. Now would be a good time to have a chat to them. But Invoice Reminders is part of Attaché BI. Now, this in itself provides, look, clients that I've spoken to and that I've been involved with, and we've discussed this, the value that this has given them has been phenomenal, because most people do not like picking up that phone and making that call to say, you owe us money, when can we have it paid? So Attaché is about trying to make those things easier for you, but also not having to print reports to know what invoices are outstanding and which are our customers that are taking longer to pay. So Invoice Reminders is part of BI. It's on one of the tabs that we have here on the screen. So I can click on it at any time and it will display all the invoices that are overdue for me. Now, there's different ways of being able to access this information. For example, you can put things in ascending and descending order. So for example, if I wanted to know who the customer was that owed us the most amount of money, I just click on the invoice amount, and now I have all the amounts in descending order. Okay, so you've got the ability to be able to click on the actual field to move those things around. You also have the ability to select special criteria. So for example, if I click on the due date or the overdue date, I can put in the number of days. So I can say, show me all the customers whose invoices are outstanding between 30 days and 90 days, and click apply, and it will then list me all those customers. Okay. If I want to clear any of the selections that I have, all I need to do is hit the refresh button. If I look at the due date, the actual due date itself, the invoices, I want to know invoices that are due from the last 30 days. So if I click on my selection, I can put in a date, or I can choose from one of the ones that we've got there. Okay, which now you can't all see because it's dropped down off the screen. I'll scroll. So we'll do that. So here you can see I've got due yesterday, the last 7 days, the last 30 days, this month, last month. So give me all the invoices that were overdue last month. So you get the ability to be able to do things like that. You can also filter. So I can come in and I can say that I want to filter on my customer, for example, and all I want to do is do Big Sky. So Big Sky, I hit apply, and it shows me I've got one invoice outstanding there for Big Sky. Now, if I want to send them a reminder, all I have to do is click in the box and it ticks it. And because it is showing me over here via the sending method that they actually do receive emails, I can then go and hit the send button, and it will then go off and send them an overdue or a reminder. So it shows me there, an overdue reminder has been sent. So it's very easy to get around the system. If you wanted to send all customers, you just click on the box at the top. If you didn't want all of them, you can then go and choose which customers. So, for example, if I put Able, if I did a selection for Able, A-B-E-L, A-B-E-L, and I apply it, it's only going to show me Able's invoices, but I can tick the ones that I want to email. Okay? But he wouldn't receive any, would he? Or they? Because it's a blank, they don't receive our invoices electronically. So it shows you which invoices are overdue, which ones you can email to your customers, and also which ones you haven't yet got set up to accept emails for whatever reason. Okay? So the Invoice Reminders is a fantastic tool that is already there. There's nothing that you need to set up. It will look at all that for you straight away. It looks at the dates. So long as you're putting in the due dates when the invoices are due, it then picks up those overdue invoices. Now, the actual reminder that the customer sees when they get it, under Setups, Customers, if we go to Forms Designer, there is one there called Invoice Reminders. So if I open up the Invoice Reminder and have a look at the master, that is what the customer will get. Okay, so you can come in and you can make changes if you need to. So that's like the cover page, and then they get a copy of the invoices sent in behind them. So again, because it uses our electronic document delivery service, you also have the ability to be able to bundle by receivers. So if I was going to send Able all these invoices, if I chose them all, I could actually come in here and say that I wanted to bundle them. It would then send the cover letter and a copy of every single one of those invoices. So they get a copy of those. Okay? So a fantastic tool that's within the system already and very, very easy to use. Okay? So that's one of the ones that's part of the Big Four. Okay, moving on to the last of our online services. Is Biz Docs. Sorry. Now with Biz Docs, I'll go back to our online services for Biz Docs. We'll close down Mypay and Express Leave. We'll go back to online. So Biz Docs is part of our document delivery and storage. It is a little bit like a virtual post office where you have all your documents in one place that you can keep in one place. So any documents that you have sent out to your customers, okay, invoices, statements, if you're sending remittance advices to your suppliers, they are all stored in your outbox because you are sending those out to your customers or your suppliers. But you would also have an inbox for invoices, for example, from Attaché. Most of you hopefully would have an inbox set up because we email you those invoices. Those invoices then appear in your inbox. If you have customers that use Attaché and also email you invoices, they all go in that inbox. So it's like a central filing system. I know my husband and we use Australia Post, and we have all our bills for all our amenities all sent to that virtual post office. So I don't need to keep copies of anything. We go in there if we need a reprint, if we need to check things from one quarter to another, all that information is in there. So this acts very, very similar to a virtual post box where you have all the information that you need. So currently, some of you will be using, still accessing the Alex Senders website and having a look at the invoices that have been opened or not opened by your customers. The actual Biz Docs does all that for you as well, but again, all in one central place. So if I launch Biz Docs, and again, we create the apps. We have, at the moment, again, the numbers, I have the numbers. There is in excess of just under 8,000 people businesses who have registered for the inbox, and there's just over 5,000 that have registered for the outbox. Okay, so obviously the inbox is more popular, and probably from you guys because you are getting invoices from Attaché. We would like to see you use the outbox a little bit more as well. So I'm going to show you here. I've actually specified, we've got our inbox, we've got our outbox, and I've also got Mypay, obviously for my payroll as well, all under the one email address. And I've opted to load this app as my main app, my Biz Docs inbox. I want to see what's coming in that needs to be paid. That's the one that I want to load. So over here, if we click on the three little dots, this is where you can either delete an app, rename it. If you don't like the name I've called it My Business Documents Inbox. You can rename it, you can change it to something else, but you can also specify which app you want to load as your homepage. So if I actually go in and go into my Biz Docs inbox, you can see here, these are the invoices that I've received. I've received some from Attaché, and I've also received some from Alison. One of them just happens to be an invoice reminder as well. Okay, so all the reminders that you send when you are doing your debt collection as well, and a customer continues to tell you that, because this is his inbox, but you've also sent the reminder. So you actually have a record via your outbox that you have been sending these. And in your outbox, I'll have a look at the outbox in a moment, you'll be able to see whether they've opened them or not. So here we have the inbox, the information that we've got. Now again, you've got various filters. You can filter by the sender. So I can choose all senders, or I could choose just Big Sky and hit go. So it will then come up and show me just the invoice and the invoice reminder that I got from Alison. Okay. You also have if I want to clear the filters, I just click on clear. So you can see here, you can do it by dates. If you're looking for a particular document number, if you're looking for a particular document type, because remember we've got the invoices, the reminders, You also might have statements that are in there. You might have remittance advices that are in there that you've received. So all those documents are there for you to have access to. So that's the actual inbox. If I click up here and I suggest, now I'm going to select my outbox, which are my documents that I've sent. Here I've dispatched the invoice reminder. These documents, these invoices here, have actually been opened. The invoice and the remittance advices have been opened. At any time, you can click on the document, you can open it, you can download it, you could do with it whatever you needed to do. Okay? So save it again if you needed to. So one of the biggest, there's a couple of things here, is when I talked about the whirlwind. You know, you're in the middle of doing something that you've been planning for a week, and all of a sudden somebody says to you, can I please have a copy of invoice number 5672? And you've got to go and find 5672. You may be able to email it because you're using our email services, or you need to then go and scan it and email it to them. Whereas the ability to be able to say to them, we have actually sent that and it is in your inbox, you have access to that, that is also saving you time, but it's also saving your customer time in them having to contact you as well, because they can get access to that information immediately. So these things are all part of that whirlwind to try and reduce that time, and also accuracy, you know, speed. The ability to be able to email an invoice and know that the customer has got it, you know, within 24 or 48 hours is a lot better than post or it being lost. Okay? So that also forms a very close alliance with your invoice reminders. Okay? So it's all about that debt collection and the cash flow and ensuring that that cash flow is continuing. Okay. That actually brings me to the end of the session, introducing our online services. Are there any questions? We have 1 minute, I've been told. Does anyone? Yes, there is a question. We'll just get the microphone for you.
Marianne, can we have 2 templates, one for online delivery and one for physical delivery on a tax invoice, issued at the same time?
Yes. So when you do your setups, your actual setups, the forms designer, you can have one as one, like the first page, and the second page is something else. You can also have on the customer's master file, when you set the customer up, you can specify which layout that customer has. At the time of sending overdue invoices, you have the ability to be able to select which layout you want. So there's lots of variations. Yes. Were there any other questions? Alison, did any come through from streaming? No?
No.
No? Fantastic. I must have done a very good job. Or nobody's listening.